Israel, a nation often lauded globally for its technological innovation and resilient economy, now faces an unprecedented crisis that threatens its very stability. After a devastating and highly coordinated attack that crippled its critical energy infrastructure, the country has been plunged into darkness for 3 consecutive days. This prolonged blackout has affected millions of citizens across urban and rural areas alike, triggering widespread disruption to daily life, commerce, and essential services. The crisis is not simply about temporary power loss, it has escalated into a full-blown energy emergency that risks bankrupting Israel, with preliminary damage and economic losses estimated at a staggering $3 billion. Beyond the immediate financial impact, this event shakes the foundation of Israel's national security, economic vitality, and social cohesion. The blackout and ensuing energy crisis expose vulnerabilities that many had believed Israel was immune to, revealing cracks in a system built on decades of innovation and foresight. As the country grapples with the aftermath, the path forward is fraught with challenges and urgent questions about how to rebuild and fortify the nation's energy infrastructure. Background: the attack that sparked the crisis. On specific recent date, Israel suffered a meticulously planned assault targeting its energy sector. A coalition of hostile actors, whose identities remain partially undisclosed but are suspected to include, group/entity if known, launched a simultaneous attack on several key points within Israel's power grid. This included sabotage of power plants, transmission lines, and substations critical to the distribution of electricity nationwide. The assault was not merely physical. Cyber attacks struck in parallel, targeting the control systems and digital infrastructure that monitor and regulate energy distribution. These cyber intrusions disabled control centers and compromised automated response protocols, making swift restoration impossible. This dual strategy of physical and cyber warfare represents a new era of hybrid attacks that can inflict widespread damage while complicating recovery efforts. Security analysts have expressed shock at the sophistication and precision of this operation. Israel's energy infrastructure had long been considered one of the most secure and resilient in the Middle East, but the scale and coordination of this attack exposed severe vulnerabilities. It underscores the rising threats that come with increased digitization and interconnectedness of critical national infrastructure. Economic consequences: $3 billion loss and counting. As the blackout stretched into its 3rd day, the economic toll escalated dramatically. Early government assessments estimate combined direct and indirect losses of over $3 billion, a figure expected to rise as the crisis continues to unfold. Industrial output slashed. Israel's industrial sector suffered one of the hardest blows. Manufacturing facilities, particularly those producing high-tech components, pharmaceuticals, and chemicals, faced costly downtime. Delays in production schedules led to postponed shipments and contractual penalties, straining international trade relationships. The technology sector, a backbone of Israel's export economy, saw productivity grind to a halt, with thousands of workers unable to perform essential research, development, or manufacturing tasks. This interruption impacts not only current revenue but also future innovation pipelines. Retail and service sector devastated. Small businesses, already vulnerable in a competitive and fluctuating global market, endured disproportionate losses. Many rely on refrigeration to preserve inventory, and the power outage led to significant spoilage of perishable goods such as food and pharmaceuticals. This resulted in both inventory losses and diminished consumer confidence. Restaurants, cafes, and hospitality services were forced to close, compounding the financial strain on owners and employees. The ripple effect hit suppliers and distributors, creating a cascading economic disruption. Tourism industry paralyzed. Tourism, a vital contributor to Israel's GDP, was brought to a standstill. Hotels without power could not operate normally, leading to cancellations and loss of revenue. Popular tourist attractions shut their gates, and visitors either canceled trips or left early due to safety concerns. The disruption comes at a particularly sensitive time for the industry, which was recovering from the global pandemic. The blackout undermined the sector's stability, risking longer-term damage to Israel's image as a safe and welcoming destination. Energy infrastructure, a system under siege. Vulnerabilities exposed. Despite substantial investments in upgrading Israel's energy grid, this crisis revealed critical gaps in infrastructure resilience and cybersecurity. The attackers exploited these weaknesses, combining physical damage with cyber sabotage to paralyze operations. The incident highlights the challenges of securing an aging and complex grid infrastructure while integrating new smart technologies. Israel's energy system must balance innovation with rigorous security protocols, a task that proved inadequate under attack. Aging equipment and over-reliance on imports. Parts of Israel's electrical grid are dependent on legacy equipment vulnerable to targeted sabotage. Furthermore, the country's reliance on energy imports from neighboring regions, which are politically unstable, adds another layer of risk. This crisis has raised urgent questions about Israel's energy independence and the sustainability of its supply chains. Experts advocate for a strategic shift towards domestic renewable energy sources and enhanced local production capacity to reduce future vulnerabilities. Government response and emergency measures. Declaring a state of emergency. In response to the crisis, the Israeli government swiftly declared a nationwide state of emergency. This move unlocked emergency powers and resources, enabling the mobilization of military units, security personnel, and technical experts to protect vital infrastructure and accelerate recovery. Coordination between different ministries and agencies was intensified, emphasizing a whole-of-government approach to managing the blackout and its aftermath. Emergency power distribution. Given the limited availability of emergency generators and fuel supplies, power rationing became necessary. Priority was given to hospitals, water treatment facilities, communications infrastructure, and key government buildings. Efforts were made to establish temporary microgrids and deploy mobile power units to the most critical sites, although logistics challenges slowed deployment in some areas. Seeking international assistance. Israel reached out to its international allies and partners, requesting emergency energy supplies, technical assistance, and cybersecurity expertise. Several countries pledged support, sending fuel shipments, equipment, and specialized personnel to aid in stabilization and reconstruction. These collaborative efforts highlight the global nature of critical infrastructure security and the importance of international solidarity in times of crisis. Social impact. Public outcry and rising tensions. Daily life disrupted. The prolonged blackout sparked widespread public frustration. Citizens faced disrupted routines, lack of basic services, and uncertainty about when electricity would be restored. The government faced mounting pressure from protests and demands for transparency and effective action. Public messaging emphasized resilience and unity, but frustration and fatigue were evident in many communities. Rising crime rates. Security lapses during the blackout created opportunities for criminal activity. Reports of looting and vandalism increased, particularly during nighttime hours. Law enforcement agencies struggled to maintain order with limited communication and power. Neighborhood watch groups and community organizations stepped up efforts to protect vulnerable areas, but the security situation remained tense. Psychological toll. The uncertainty and stress of the blackout took a heavy psychological toll on the population. Mental health professionals reported a rise in anxiety, depression, and stress-related disorders. Vulnerable groups, including the elderly and those with pre-existing mental health conditions, were especially affected. Efforts to provide mental health support and crisis counseling were ramped up, with hotlines and outreach programs launched to address growing needs. Regional and global implications. Heightened geopolitical tensions. The attack and subsequent energy crisis have escalated tensions across the Middle East. Israel has accused suspected state or non-state actors of orchestrating the assault as part of a broader campaign to destabilize the region. Diplomatic relations with neighboring countries and international actors have been strained, with calls for restraint mixed with demands for accountability. The incident risks triggering further conflict or proxy confrontations. Impact on global markets. Israel's economy plays a significant role in global technology exports and financial markets. The blackout-induced instability has rattled investors, leading to volatility in stock prices and currency markets. Supply chain disruptions from Israeli exports have also affected multinational corporations relying on Israeli technology and pharmaceuticals, with potential ripple effects on global markets. Path to recovery, challenges ahead. Infrastructure repair timeline. Restoration of the damaged energy infrastructure will require weeks, if not months. Technical complexity, security concerns, and the need for specialized equipment pose significant obstacles. The government has prioritized rapid repairs but warns that full recovery will be a long-term process. Energy diversification push. The crisis has catalyzed renewed efforts to diversify Israel's energy portfolio. Plans to expand solar, wind, and other renewable sources are gaining momentum, with increased funding and regulatory support. Developing decentralized energy systems and battery storage technology are seen as crucial steps to enhance resilience. Cybersecurity overhaul. Israel is launching a comprehensive overhaul of its cybersecurity defenses related to critical infrastructure. This includes upgrading monitoring systems, enhancing threat detection, and fostering public-private partnerships to share intelligence. Strengthening cyber defenses is essential to prevent future attacks of this nature.